First of all, let me just say how good it is to look out and see each of your beautiful souls creating a sacred community. This is the singular, most uplifting moment for me since October 7th. Your presence radiates hope. These high holy days are known by many names. Tonight I'd like to focus on one, the Yamin Noraim, the days of awe. Why days of awe? Because, as Rabbi Ruvain Hammer offers, these 10 days are a time of solemn rejoicing, of fear of judgment, coupled with confidence of atonement, of both hopeful anticipation of the new year and anxiety for the future. In the words of an old folk saying, even the fish in the sea tremble at the approach of the days of awe. Indeed, fear, anxiety, and trembling are very real manifestations of awe and a part of our deep spiritual dive as we begin the new year. Yet there's another side to awe I'd like to lift up tonight. One needed to counter the fear of our world turned upside down. 20 years ago, the scientific community focused on connecting awe with the emotion of fear. Psychologists Jonathan Haidt and Dacher Keltner recognized that the benevolent feelings evoked by awe were getting short shrift. After extensive reading over a wide variety of disciplines, Haidt and Keltner boiled down their definition of awe as the feeling we get in the presence of something vast that challenges our understanding of the world. Dacher Keltner's career has revolved around the study of emotions, scientifically measuring how they impact our body, our spirit, and our behavior. 2 decades of studying and experiencing awe culminated in his book entitled Awe, the New Science of Everyday Wonder and How It Can Transform Your Life. And I want to say, as I'm looking at Carolyn Pettit, after the passing of your beloved Barry, you gave me this book, Awe, because you knew that I was a kindred spirit not only with Barry, but you, Carolyn, and all of the Pettit-Krumholtz family. Thank you for that book. Each of us has experienced awe as a reaction to any number of what Keltner identifies as the 8 wonders of life. Tonight I'd like to share 3 of these wonders, starting off with nature and other people, and then to consider how awe impacts our behavior, and finally to close with the 3rd wonder, a piece of awe-inspiring music. My first memory of awe is when I was around 10 years old. Our family took a spring break vacation to Nassau. One morning, I took a walk on the beach, first passing all the sunbathers stretched out on fully reclined chaise lounges, glistening in baby oil, That was not my first experience of awe. I walked beyond the resort beach as the sunbathers began to thin out. Within 15 minutes, the beach was empty. I kept walking and walking and walking, now a good hour from the resort. I felt at once the thrilling liberation of such independence and a twinge of fear, not of being in danger, but feeling so small, looking out into the vast, seemingly infinite ocean. I was awestruck. I felt, for a 10-year-old, a connection to the universe, to a higher being, to God. I just started weeping. It was a fleeting moment, one I've never forgotten. And then I realized, holy cow, I've been gone a long time, and I'm far away. I hightailed it back. I'm actually not sure that anyone missed me. I didn't share the experience with my family, just didn't have the language to do so. 30 years later, at age 40, I found the words when I applied to rabbinic school. What incredible natural beauty we are blessed with right here in Phoenix, much less around the state. About a year after my father's death, my mother of blessed memory began escaping the blustery Buffalo winters and renting a condo in Scottsdale for a couple months. My mother and I cherished that time together. Most memorable were 2 road trips, just the 2 of us. The first was a day trip to Sedona. She had never been. My favorite approach to Sedona is from the south on Route 89A through Cottonwood. At a certain point, Sedona's iconic red to orange sandstone formations begin to come into view. My mom's reaction, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. No one would say of my dear mother that she was a deeply spiritual person, yet in that moment, and haven't we all been there, we are simply awestruck. Who else have we to address our thanks? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So from the day trip with my mom, we graduated to an overnighter at the South Rim of the Grand Canyon. At 89 years of age, this was my mom's first time. After settling into our subpar lodging, and there was only 1 room, not off to a good start, it was high time for my mother to experience why we came here in the first place. We boarded the shuttle that takes you to all the lookout points on the South Rim. One of the marvels of the Grand Canyon is that everyone experiences it like the first explorers, except for the guardrails. You can't see into the canyon until you are literally standing at the rim. We got off the shuttle, and arm in arm, I slowly escorted my little bitty, strong-willed mother, anticipating with bated breath what was in store just 20 yards away. holding on to the guardrail, my mother peered in to the canyon. This time, there were no words, because there are no words. Again, a first with my mom. She was awestruck and speechless. Tears welled up in her eyes as they did in mine. Neither of us spoke. Singularly, the most precious moment ever with my mom. Both of us aligned, my mother in awe of the Grand Canyon, I in awe of my mother. Her capacity to deeply receive this sublime, fleeting moment, a moment I'll forever cherish. Meet my mom. It came as no surprise to Dr. Keltner and his fellow researchers to hear so many stories of awe triggered by nature. Here's what did come as a surprise, and maybe it will surprise you as well. What most commonly led people around the world to feel awe were other people. They were reflected in stories of people's courage, kindness, and overcoming obstacles, summed up by what Keltner calls moral beauty. For example, I am still awed 23 years later by the courage and selfless heroism of the first responders and civilians who rose to unimaginable heights on 9/11. In particular, the 343 members of the New York Fire Department who died that day, along with the heartbreak, we are inexplicably moved when human beings show up with such unwavering devotion to serve. It's simply stunning. CBS's 60 Minutes dedicated a full hour using footage from that fateful day, interviewing firefighters who survived 9/11, telling the heroic stories of their brothers laying down their lives to save others. The 9/11 Memorial and Museum enshrines these stories. Moral beauty is also manifest in people who have overcome obstacles. People with disabilities, those who are neurodivergent, those who suffer from addictions and mental illness. It takes agency and determination to overcome such challenges, but it doesn't happen alone. Overcoming life's challenges require community. Who watched the Paralympics last month in Paris? 3.5 hands just went up. Well, oh my God, I was just simply blown away. Take, for example, Sume Boyachi, the young Turkish woman born with no arms. As a girl, she became interested in swimming while watching fish in an aquarium, noticing they didn't have arms just like her. talk about boundless aspirations of the human spirit and the community it takes to support such uncharted ambition. It gives you goosebumps and takes your breath away. And then there's the story of the legally blind student photographer, Samantha Hurley, selected by the merits of her portfolio to photograph the Paralympian athletes. In her own words, these athletes defy the expectations of athleticism, and I defy the expectations of photojournalism. We meddle in adaptive sports. We find new ways of doing things. Getting to document these athletes' stories allowed me to better appreciate my own. That is awesome. From Paralympic champions in the sporting arena to addicts in the residential recovery center in Los Angeles called Beit Teshuvah, the house of repentance, the house of return. Our Temple Solel, 8th and 9th graders, sat in awe last year, riveted, listening to young women share addiction and recovery stories after a Shabbat dinner at Beit Teshuvah. Like all those with obstacles to overcome, it takes deep personal resolve, hard work, a leap of faith, and a community of love, standing with them side by side. It was humbling and awesome to behold. There is good reason that most evening news broadcasts end with special interest stories. They are stories of moral beauty, of courage, kindness, and overcoming obstacles. We wait to watch the end of the broadcast because we need to hear these stories. I choose to champion awe on this Rosh Hashanah, yes, for its own sake and how it makes us feel. Yet that alone doesn't do justice to the impact awe has on our behavior. Awe is nothing less than God's evolutionary life jacket for humanity. Awe is Mother Earth's seductive way of courting us to live up to our biblical mission of being caretakers of the earth and one another. As Dr. Keltner and his colleagues concluded in their research, feelings of awe make us humbler, kinder, and more connected within a community, more interconnected with all of creation. Awe sharpens our reasoning and critical thinking, gives us pause with our own certainty, makes us better listeners and less judgmental. And it's good for our physical and mental health. What a sacred chain reaction. Experience awe, act with greater humility, kindness, and love, and it comes with a health benefit. If that doesn't have divine fingerprints on it, I don't know what does. I ask all of the B'nai Mitzvah students I meet with, some here tonight, how do you feel? How do you feel after doing a mitzvah of being of service? And the answer is always some variation of, it makes me feel happy, it makes me feel good, it makes me feel more grateful. When awe awakens the better angels of our nature, we are rewarded beyond measure. The greatest gift my parents of blessed memory gave me, aside from a loving home, was going to Jewish summer camp in Maine. Those 6 summers were the most formative of my life. The counselor whose influence on me spans over 5 decades was Uncle Artie Clark, a dyed-in-the-wool Mainer. Canoeing and camping served, in the words of the acclaimed conservationist Rachel Carson, served as the fertile soil in which seeds of awe were planted in the natural world. We experienced the grandeur of the wild, paddling in pristine waters, navigating with respect the power of rapids, watching otters play without a care in the world, beholding at a safe distance the majestic, breathtaking sight and sound of a moose dining on lily pads, hearing the call of the loons while sitting around the campfire. To a person, campers and counselors alike, we basked in the glow of awe. Looking back on it, I appreciate more than ever Uncle Artie's well-timed wisdom, speaking to us collectively as we broke down camp after breakfast. He said, "Boys, leave the campsite better than you found it." That's the power of awe. In and of itself, a fleeting moment, but its impact is nothing less than a lifelong covenant. Little did I know that my Christian counselor, Uncle Artie Clark, would send me forth into the world with my greatest piece of Torah. Torah meant for all of us to hear. Leave the campsite better than you found it. That is, I dare say, why we are here as Jews and citizens of the world. There is a lot riding on cultivating a culture of awe. It doesn't require the heroic or the exceptional. It does not have to evoke an "oh my God" or bring tears to your eyes or give you goosebumps. It's about the unsung heroes, everyday kindness, and opening your eyes to the abundance that's all around us. It's about opening your heart and showing up to give and receive. You have already experienced and will continue to do so throughout the High Holy Days Todd's stunning voice in concert with our wonderful choir and musicians. I would like to give you, Todd choir and musicians, the opportunity to receive as well. When I heard the first chord of Yo-Yo Ma and Catherine Stott playing Camille Saint-Saëns' The Swan, I was instantly moved to tears, awed by the marvel of the human spirit expressed through instruments created to channel divine vibrations, touching the soul. I now share it with you my beloved Temple Solel community, watch these master musicians, or simply close your eyes and feel.